Welcome back. So today we're going to talk about Bitmoji and creating a virtual Bitmoji classroom, which is really exciting. So if you're familiar with Bitmoji, you can have this on your phone or your device. You can get it on the App Store or the Google Play Store. Also, if you're just on bitmoji.com, all the way at the bottom, there is this feature that will let you use it for Chrome desktop. And that's what a lot of people are using right now is Chrome. So this is the one that will take you to the extension where you can add it, and it will actually add it right up here, which is really helpful. So when you just click here, all of your Bitmojis pop up, you can search, and then you just click and drag, which is very helpful as we're making this. So I like to have it right there. It's up to you. Something to look at another time is Bitmoji for games. So we will look at that another day. But yes, so Bitmoji, something that's been used for many people for many years. Now teachers are using this to create a Bitmoji classroom. Since we're away from our classrooms right now, it's kind of fun for students to see a virtual classroom and to interact with it. There's lots of teachers making these. There's teachers making Here's Me at Home, which works as well. But the cool thing about this, it's not just a picture. It's not just something that's stagnant. It's something that a student can interact with. So here's mine, and if you click on me, it actually takes you to my YouTube channel. For my students, if you click on Good Morning Class, it will show you my video, which I will update each week to talk them through what they're working on that week. Here's just some surveys talking about some things that the students need. So the links are there for them if they need them. If they click on the computer, this takes them to the website we're actually using for instruction right now. I have, if you click on the inspirational poster, it's a meditation video. If you click on the items on the bookshelf, this is an audiobook. This takes them to vocabulary, which I use for some extra credit assignments, News ELA, and this is frequently asked questions. So this is really, really cool to be able to use, to interact with. Students like things like this where they can interact, and you can change it, which is very nice as well. So let me show you how you can get started. So to do this, the first thing we need to do is add slide and add a blank slide. Nothing's there yet. And we need to add a background. So we could either right click, change background, or we could just click right up here, either way. And we're going to choose an image. So we're going to Google search this image, and we're going to search for wall and floor. And there's many options here. You can see this is the one I already have. I'm going to pick a different one for this new space. Insert. Okay, and now I have a new background. This one already has a plant, which you might like, or you might want to pick something else. And now we need to populate the space. So you can start with whatever you'd like to start with to create your space. As a teacher, I want to start with my whiteboard just because it takes up so much space and it is so important. But you can start with whatever you want. You're going to go to Insert, Image, Search the Web. And the important thing to look for when you're searching for anything that is an image is it needs to be transparent. So this is so that when you're putting it onto the space, it's not going to have any white edges or any background portions to it. So transparent whiteboard, and you can click on any of these that you would prefer. I'm going to select this one. Okay, and yeah, and as you can see, there's nothing around the edges. It just kind of fits into the image really well, and you can size that however you like. And we're going to continue. So what else do I want in a classroom? Probably that bookshelf, because you can have the different links on your bookshelf there. So since it's already over here to the right, I can just type in bookshelf, transparent, and there's many options there for you that you can choose from. Okay, so I resized that. and that fits in my space. So when we're looking at how to create these links now, especially with these books, the easy way that I've done this is I will just look up, well, what kind of book do I want? Maybe I'm doing an audio book for my class. And I'm going to do an audiobook for The Giver. So I'm going to just search The Giver book and find this image here. And obviously this is way too large. So I'm going to shrink this to book size for my bookshelf. Okay, so that's good. So now I need to find the link for my audiobook. So we're only going to do chapter 1 of The Giver for this week for my classroom. So if I click on the image and do insert link, I can just paste my link. And there it is. It's chapter 1 of The Giver. So week by week, then I could update this. If it's something I don't want to update, then maybe I could just program it differently. So after I do this, I would do this for as many books I want, as many websites that I would want for my classroom. So remember, every time that you're searching an object that you would like to have in the space, make sure that you're including the word transparent there. And now I'm going to look for a couch for this space. So there's many, many options here that you can choose from. I'm going to select this one. And there's a couple things you can do with objects as well. It's not limitless, unfortunately, but there are some options. So for example, if I'm looking at this couch, maybe the color doesn't really work with my space. Maybe now that I put it in the space, I'm realizing, I don't want it to be over here because it kind of blocks this plant. Maybe I want it to be over here. So if I right click and do format options, there are some options here for me. So I can flip, which will rotate it there. So now I can slide it over here. Okay, and then maybe I would just make sure I wouldn't have a book directly behind this couch. But then I can also recolor it. So if I don't think this is the perfect color for the space, I can change this. Maybe I want it to be this gray color. Okay, so now I want to add my Bitmoji to make my Bitmoji interact within the space. So if I click up here again, because I got the Chrome extension, it's easier. There is just this easy, everyone has this Bitmoji version of themselves that's sitting. So if you just want to have that, you could. Sitting in the space, or you could use, I had my person sitting on a bean bag. There's many different options here. You could have them sitting in a chair. You could have them standing or waving like these people do. So there's many different options that you can have with your Bitmoji in this space. Now, one trick that my colleague actually taught me, which is really helpful, is if I have a space that I know I'm never going to change certain elements within the space. So for example, I'm never going to want to get rid of this whiteboard. That's just my personal opinion. I always want to have it there. I love this plant. I always want this plant here. I always want this bookshelf here, etc. All these elements on my screen right now are not going to be interactive with my students. Now, these elements that I can click on this morning on the whiteboard itself, I do want the students to click on. However, looking at this right now, a student could click on the couch, a student could click in all these spots, and it might get confusing for them with all of these clickable items that don't have links. So something that a colleague showed me, which is very helpful, is that you can save this image as a background. So then if you notice in this classroom that I have here, if I click on this plant, nothing happens. If I click on the bookshelf, nothing happens. If I click on the rug, right? The only things that are going to allow me, even clicking on this date, nothing happens. The only things that are going to allow me to click on them are things that have links attached to them. So to do that, you just click File, Download, and you can download it as a JPEG or a PNG image, either way. And then when you have a blank slide here, you would just search background, choose image, and I would upload that image that I already have saved. So here's my virtual Bitmoji classroom that I had saved. So now that I do this, again, notice nothing is clickable on this page, but then if I want to start adding these elements in, I can do that, and it's not going to be distracting then for my students with all these extra objects in the space. So that is definitely helpful. This also gives me a template. So if I want to change this from week to week and I want my Bitmoji person to be in a different spot, maybe I want different books on the bookshelf, and I want to mix things up for my students so that they're not just seeing the same thing each time and they're excited to check it to see what's different. I have this template. I don't have to start from scratch. I can have the same border, the same rug, whatever elements that I want. Maybe I don't want the couch every week. I would just save this background so that it's easy. I don't have to recreate these few elements every week. And then I would just add different books to my bookshelf or items around the room. So as you can see, limitless options here and possibilities for using Bitmoji to create this virtual classroom to whatever the needs are of your students, to whatever grade level you would like. And also, I will put the link to this in the description down below, but there's other videos out there of teachers that are creating banners for their Google Classroom pages, and you can make them like this one that is animated or one that's stagnant using Bitmoji, and it's really not that difficult either, and it's a lot of fun. All of this is fun. So please enjoy, please create, please share your creations so that we can see them. And as always, please like, subscribe, and have a wonderful day.